Okay, Arlene had contacted me concerning doing a video. Someone had requested doing a video of a fisherman, and I didn't know exactly what kind of fisherman that they were looking for. There are several ways to do a fisherman. I've done them where it has the hands out in front of it, and then the pole is sticking backwards, as a lot of people do, and it's hung up in a tree, and it's got him all wrapped up and stuff like that. And then I did one that where I kind of cut the legs off, and he was standing in water. In other words, I had him like he was standing inside water fishing. And then I did an ice fisherman. But I kind of thought, well, let's look for something that's a little bit different. And so I got to looking for some patterns for fishermen, and I found in a very, very old book a pattern by Chuck Smith, and like I said, I want to look for something that beginners can have a little bit easier time doing. And this is a basic fisherman with his hands down to the side, and he's holding a fishing pole, and the string is going around, and he's got a boot hanging down from it. In other words, he's called a boot. And this hand over here kind of goes out like this. And I thought that this would be an interesting figure to do for the people. So I decided on this pattern, and maybe I'll do one with you where the pole is sticking back and it's wrapped around him and everything like that. Those are cute ones to do. But I went ahead and settled for this one because it's a lot simpler. Well, some people may not think so, but it's simpler for the beginner to get started with. And I have to, you remember, I have to put the beginner in mind when it comes to these things, because it's you know, a lot of people that are watching these videos, some of them are advanced, but a lot of them are not, and we have to take that in consideration. Now, this is the pattern that we're using. Now, you're going to have a bandsaw to do this piece, because as you can see, I cut out the side view, and then I cut out some of the front view. Now, it's kind of hard to do these out of a block of wood. It's not impossible, but let me say, is if you are a carver and you don't have a bandsaw, and I know that a lot of you, maybe don't have the means, but try to get a hold or have someone cut out your pattern for you, because you really making things out of a block of wood are good, but when you really get into the carving that you like, you get yourself a bandsaw, and then you can cut your pieces out, and then you can really do some intricate work. So I'm not saying this or that, but if you can get a bandsaw, please do. Okay, now let me show you the pattern once again. The fisherman is standing there with, this is the side view, this is the front view, and he's standing there holding a fishing rod, in which we're also going to carve a little fishing rod and a boot to be hanging down. So, the video will show you how that we make things to be held. In other words, most of the time everything is in the pocket. Of course, we've done the hobo and stuff, but this will help immensely. Now, let me get my my carving stuff on. There's three basic things that I always use or get together with, and that is my carving glove. And people, this is a wristband to help me keep my wrist straight whenever I carve. A lot of people talk about carpal tunnel or tunnel carpal, I don't know what they call it, but I try to keep my wrist straight so that whenever I carve, because most of my action is in my wrist that I use. And okay, So here's the figure right here. Now, on this side is where the arm that will be holding the boot, it's going to be over here. Be on this side like this, because when I cut it. So basically, it's going to be something like this, in other words. Something that comes down like this and goes like this, you see? Now, always, like I said, I make it a little bit bigger. Of course, it's going to be smaller. And the hand's going to be in here, just like that. And then on this side, even though it showed, because when I had to cut it, it had, this is the side that is going to be the hand that's hanging down, in other words, holding the fishing rod. Okay? Just like that. Okay. So what we want to do, first of all, is what I usually start off with is sort of shaping the legs. Now, let me explain to you. This specific fisherman is going to have on what's called waders. And as you see in the part here, these waders are basically, the boot is connected to the waders, and most of you fishermen know that, but I know waders now all in one piece, but the old type of waders that they had, and because this is an old fisherman, this is an old pattern, it just came up to the hips here almost, and then he wore them like that. So that's basically what we're going to do. But first of all, we want to do is we want to start shaping out the boots, and I'll show you how we get the look of the waders. But we're just going to kind of start shaping out these boots a little bit.